Eastern Time. Tomorrow, though, as I mentioned a moment ago, is Veterans Day. Not only that, today's the Marine's birthday. It's the 240th birthday of the Marine Corps today. And so it's a good time to talk. Any time would be, but it's an especially good time to talk about veterans issues. And those who have served our country are watching to see what the candidates will be saying about those issues tonight. And some in the Republican field have already proposed, for example, privatizing parts of the VA, as we talked about before the last break. Montel Williams, the talk show host, a man who spent 20-plus years in the military himself, joins us now from Milwaukee. Good to see you, Montel. And what about this idea of privatizing the VA?
Connell, I was really crazy that this is a perfect opportunity to talk about this. Last night, I spoke before a group of about 140 doctors, APs, PAs, who were at the Cleveland Clinic putting on a conference that was for meeting the health needs of veterans in the 21st century. And in that discussion last night, we talked about this at length. When some of the candidates are proffering this proposal of privatizing certain aspects to the letter, every single technician in that room, from doctor to PA, said that right now one of the biggest problems that we have is that, veterans, number one, really those who are looking for care don't necessarily trust people who aren't veterans. And whether we want to admit it or not, it's true. So when they come, they don't open up and talk to them. When we privatize and send the veterans somewhere that they don't expect another veteran to be there to welcome them, then we're going to be sending them into a black hole, and they probably won't seek the treatment we want them to get.
That's interesting. What do they want?
But there is a way to do this.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let me tell you, there's a way to do this, and I hope that these candidates tonight open up their minds, and when we see the Democratic debate, do the same. You remember that this country made its biggest leap in education post-World War II and Korean War. Why? Because we gave veterans the GI Bill. And then they in turn passed that on to their children. We had the highest education rate that we had in this country. Now, if we took advantage of the veterans that we have right now, and remember, 80 to 85% of them don't have a problem. Why are we not employing veterans right now at VA hospitals and at hospitals that will receive other veterans to ensure that that transition works the best? And that would be the program that I'm looking to talk about.
It's interesting. So how do you fund that? Because this is a portion of the issue that we haven't heard a lot about. We've heard a lot about the problems at the VA. We've heard a lot about the complaints, and there are legitimate complaints from veterans coming back. But this idea that veterans want to deal with veterans, that's what they want to deal with, is not something we've heard as much about. So how do we get there?
It's not that they just want to deal with veterans, but, when a veteran walks into a hospital, like yesterday at the Cleveland Clinic, and this nurse was almost crying to me when she explained this to me. She doesn't know what to say to this guy. Well, one thing that happened was she got his rank wrong. Now, that may seem insignificant to you.
No, it's not.
But if I'm a man who's suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, I put my life on the line to protect you as a nation, I walk in and you don't even have the respect for me to look up the symbol on my sleeve and call me by the right rank? And I'm a guy that's injured, and you want to treat the whole patient? Again, but this is not, let me just explain this though. Healthcare providers across this country right now are working as hard as they can to prove to veterans and to prove to America that they want to fix this.
All right, so what do you want to do? What do you want to, Montel, sorry to cut you off, what do you want to do? Like, is there a program? How does this manifest itself, this idea?
There's multiple things that we could do. One, I'll throw a candidate, I'll throw these guys a bone tonight. Someone ought to figure out how we can extend the active duty, or what's called TEMAC time, for retirees. What they do is they retire at 20 years, then you keep them on temporary active duty, and let's give them a stipend of their pay. Let's keep them on temporary active duty for 3 years. Every veteran getting out, if you would do me a favor, for the next 3 years, I'll pay you to serve at a hospital. I'll pay some of you, watch this, how about we take advantage of them and use them in our schools? Why don't we take advantage of them and use them in our infrastructure? They are so talented, they're waiting to be asked to lead America again.
Are you hearing this from any of
we do that?
Any of the candidates? You hearing?
Of course not.
No. I mean, not from either side. From either side.
No, of course not. We're not hearing from our Congress either. Why? Because for the first time in history, and America needs to open up their eyes and recognize this, for the first time in history, we have less than 20% of our Congress, elected officials, who ever put a uniform on. But they have the audacity to send our children off to die. And then once they do so and they're injured, they won't take care of them when they get back. I'm here today. I flew in from last night from Cleveland, just to be here because I hope that I catch a couple of them walking down the hallway in a couple places because I'm going to try to fire this up. We need to have people stop all the banter and all the coffee room talk, and let's come up with serious ways to affect our veterans. And the people in the street are working really hard.
You've thrown out some ideas. Maybe they were listening now. You've thrown out some specific ideas already. Montel Williams.
I got 10 of them. Come on, talk to me. I got 10.
Yeah,
come on back.
Keep going. Well, I'm sure we will. Thanks. Good to talk to you. And it's certainly a worthy topic.